Alright, why hello and welcome everybody. It is Pohx again. I just woke up and computer fan should be nice and happy, shouldn't be too loud, and let's get the third part of the summoner build up. So, today we're going to talk about a couple things. We're going to talk about, actually let me just drop this. We're going to talk about the links in my gear. We're going to talk about the reason why I use the specific summons. We're talking about the auras I run and my choice on the auras, and then a little bit about why I'm hybrid and not like low life or CI or just pure life. So the first thing I want to talk about is the aura choices. So discipline gives me a huge bulk to my energy shield. Precisely, I think it gives me like 1.4k or something. More than that. Okay, it gives a lot. So discipline is just a huge chunk to my ES, and it actually helps with the minions as well. The reason why it helps with the minions is once the ES heals, it's like a free hit of damage before it actually hits their HP bar. Something substantial, but you know what? You can't leave it off. It's still pretty good for the minions. Especially for evangelists who don't really take damage because they're sitting in the back and then they get hit and then it has to hit that ES pool first. So it's okay, you know, it does something for them. Purity of Elements is for my summons, but also mainly for me. Because my gear is relatively cheap when it comes to resists, it's really not that expensive. I don't have much resists, and because of that, I really have to work on my my resists, so I'm running Purity of Elements, which, like I said, helps me out a lot, but helps my summons even more to ensure that the resist capped, and even helps to make sure that when you're fighting mobs that use like curses, like flammability, or elemental weakness, the purity really kicks in there as well. The last choice of curse that I use is hatred, but hatred is used with generosity, which is linked right here. So it's reduced mana, generosity, and hatred. So generosity increases the effect of my aura, which is hatred, which it's not really for me, it's mainly for the summons, which scales their damage out exponentially. And then, of course, I have reduced mana, purity of elements, and discipline. So that's pretty much all the auras I run. Something I was thinking about is possibly dropping purity of elements and then working my way downward over here to charisma, and by grabbing this wheel of dex here and maybe respecking to grab these 3 dex nodes, dropping 1, 2, 3 this wheel, and then picking up life here. You could also run haste as well. But that's for something else. So going on, I'll talk about my zombies first. My zombies have, I guess there's a couple ways you could do them. So right now, they have to be in a +2 minion helm. If not, you're just really not utilizing the +2 helm, which is just so good. You pretty much want to look at this as a 5 link, with this being a level 3 in power. That's the way you want to look at it. So we've got Raised Zombie, which gets, of course, 2 levels from the actual helmet itself, which is the only thing I have qualityed, I think, in my entire build, actually. Then I have melee physical damage, multi-strike, and melee splash. Now, the things you could swap, in and out would be melee splash could potentially be swapped out for added fire because you already have Montrigles, which adds the explosion effect of Infernal Blow when you kill them up. So that's an option, but when I'm fighting like Vol or Dominus or things like that, I very simply just click it, swap, and then that's it, and then pull it back out. So it's very easy for me. Another thing you can drop is people have been testing with, Empower, using a level 3 Empower over a melee splash, but that does take quite some time, I'm not going to lie to you, to just magically find a level 3 Empower. So that is another option, but that will also scale the minions' life and their base damage as well. My Raised Zombies have approximately 11k HP right now, so they're doing pretty well, of course. Alright, the next thing I want to talk about is my Specters. Oh yes, one other thing. The reason why I can hold 5 zombies where you can pick up 9 on the tree would be because my chest is rolled with +1 maximum zombies, which gives me 10 total. So with Montrigles halved, I have 5. Next I want to talk about the Specters. My Specters are Evangelists that I'm using, which are the guys you can get from Act 3. You can find them right here in Scepter of God. All you gotta do is desecrate and you can find them and they'll pop up for you. So prime example, we have an evangelist right there, and when you wanna raise a specter, all you do is pull out your echo gem and then swap and raise. So this is what I've got linked right now. It's raise specter with minion damage, spell echo, and added fire. Other things you could swap in and out, you could use Area of Effect, you could use Concentrated Effect, you could use Faster Casting, and I'm sure there's a bunch of other things you could potentially use as well. If I were to get a potential 5 link, the things I would do is I would drop my Ray Specter and put it in my 5 link with either Area of Effect or Faster Casting, or if I just so happen to get a necklace with a +1 corruption of additional curse, then my curse on hit, which is located here, would go into my chest piece. So going with the curse on hit. The curse on hit at the moment is just curse on hit, arc, elemental weakness, and vulnerability. I need to start leveling in enfeeble, so when I do certain bosses, just maybe, I'll just throw on an enfeeble, because enfeeble does help a lot. The reason why I use arc though with my enfeeble is because I feel that arc is just better than ball lightning if you don't have any augmented things towards it. For example, arc chains by itself. Ball lightning doesn't scale its AoE by itself. You need to have Area of Effect, or you need to have like LMP or GMP. So for really high density packs, Ball Lightning would be better, but at the same time, Arc is just very simple. And when you have things like Vol Haste going and you're just arcing all over the screen, it's very effective. But of course, to each their own. Alright, next up, we're going to talk about my chess piece. My chess piece has Increased Duration, Vol Haste, Flesh Offering, and Vol Discipline. So Flesh Offering is really nice for a couple of reasons. The first reason being it gives your minions a 39% attack speed, cast speed, and movement speed increase, which is huge. Like if I were to just throw it down, you can't really see, but you can actually see they run really quickly with Flesh Offering, same with their attack speed. And furthermore, whenever you get like boxes, you can just detonate all the corpses. Whenever you get beyond mobs, there's no corpses anyway. Whenever you're fighting a beyond boss that just so happens to have all detonate dead, it's just nice to remove corpses at the same time. While your zombies also they explode the mobs, so there's no corpses as well. Well, sometimes it depends on what gets the kill. Now in my last link here, I'm running Convocation, which is what pulls the minions to me. And in one ring I'm running Desecrate, and the other one I'm running Animate Guardian. You do not have to run Animate Guardian in this build, it's entirely up to you, but if you want a theoretical damage increase, then you would run an Animate Guardian. This right here, this effect is called Dying Breath, and this one is from Learcast, the helmets. They're not like, I don't know, they're pretty good. They're really not like that bad by any means. He's pretty tanky. I mean, just on the tooltip, he has 5.6k life. I don't think that includes his gear, I could be incorrect. But he's a little stupid sometimes. He likes to run off on his own and go Rambo. But essentially what Dying Breath does is it increases everyone's damage and increases curse effectiveness on monsters. And then Learcast increases damage. So he's really good to have for just one link. Like it's like adding a whole link of damage to your gear, but in a separate socket. Now, I do know that finding dex is kind of difficult, so this is what I've done in terms of dexterity. I have a shield that just so happened to have 40 dexterity on it, and I have a necklace that was rolled with dex, and that covers all my dexterity that I need for now. I do want to get more to level up my Vol Haste though. So, going on with why I'm hybrid and things I could do to better my gear. First off, if I was hybrid with like armor evasion, my character would be substantially more tanky because I could hit like 6k plus armor with determination, assuming one person in the party runs it, opposed to my 400 armor right now, which is a big deal. It's a huge increase on armor, and then it also affects your Granite Flask as well. So just going on more towards the gear a little bit. Montrigles I don't know too much about because I've only been playing a summoner now for like just under a week, and I really like it. I like it because it doesn't clutter your screen as much. It makes less zombies for quality is better than quantity. That's the way I like to say it. Whether or not this is an actual damage increase, I really couldn't tell you. But I do know that in the Beyond area, when you're in the Beyond League, when you're fighting mobs, there is a lot of burst damage to be dealt. You have like the fire dogs that spawn, and fire dogs just wreck in general. You have like the 16 storm calls all over the place. So having a good front line, I believe, is really important. And I know for a fact they still do great damage. So that's why I like Montrigles. It also helps your arc DPS because of that 15% elemental damage. Don't forget, guys, that's very important. My 2 rings are just rolled with resists. Life, honestly, is not that important if you're getting Chaos Res. It really isn't. My life has never dropped below 75% from Chaos damage, and I'm level 87 as of right now. So my rings are just basically rolled with just resists, really. My chest piece, of course, has resists life, and then it's got the extra zombie. My helmet is ES with 2 resists. Shield, you guys saw, it's evasion ES. Necklace is chaos res with dex. You know, all of these little low life rolls, which I was thinking of removing and seeing what else I can roll. Actually, I want to see like the percent ES, but that's an exalted, so that's something else. My gloves are probably going to get replaced soon, actually, but they're 40 int, 71 life, lightning, and chaos res. But I could get a much higher chaos res roll on gloves, and that would pretty much almost cap me because I'm 59% chaos resistance right now as it is. And my boots are just Bones of Allure, so the only uniques I'm currently using in my build would be Bones of Allure and Munchagirls. And my my belt is okay. It gives 300 armor, which is pretty neat, but it's good because it's got a double strength roll as well, which works out really well for my build, so I don't have to spec into any strength for right now. I will be speccing down into Constitution because it's just 20 strength with 2 life nodes, which I feel is a really good pickup, especially because it gives base life. So I think that might actually be what I'm heading for right now in my build. So by level 91, I'm probably going to pick it up, and I may even pick up this 1 curse effect node. So that pretty much covers all of that. So I want to talk about why I'm hybrid right now. So could you go low life and be more beneficial? Yes. Do I have a Chevrons? No. Do I want a Chevrons? No. Could I go low life Solorica? Sure. Do I feel like it? No. Why am I not life-based? I've played tons of life-based characters. I just wanted something new. I really did. Why am I not CI? I just don't like CI. Could you go CI with this build? Definitely. Would it be more effective? I really couldn't tell you. I'm sure it wouldn't be ineffective by any means. But, you know, you could drop like these 4 life nodes here. You could drop the life nodes here. And you're already at CI. So you just pick up Chaos Inoculation and then Infuse Shield. And you're already at the ES nodes here. The ES nodes here. The ES nodes here. So you could easily pick it up. Zealot's Oath is 4 points away. You have Shaper already. You can get a 1% life regen here. If you felt like moving across, you've got life regen here. Like, there's a bunch of stuff you could do to make this CI viable. I may do it later on. I don't know. But the point is I'm hybrid. And I feel like a lot of people in the community don't understand that hybrid is a build, because either your ES goes to your mana pool, being Eldritch Battery, or your ES is just your ES pool, which means your CI. I very rarely see these hybrid characters, and I think they're a lot of fun because it's mechanics that I'm not used to. I'm not used to knowing that if my ES depletes, I'm not dead. I still have a life pool, but I'm still playing around my ES pool, but I still take chaos damage to my life. It's just really interesting, and that's the reason why I'm playing it right now. And it's really cheap because nobody plays hybrid builds. Like, sure, there was a person in Beyond who hit level 100 with a hybrid, but it doesn't mean everybody plays it. It just means one guy knows that Energy Shield and Life hybrid builds are effective builds, and they do work. So that's the reason behind going hybrid. Now, another thing I want to go into is my flask setup. So as of right now, I'm using 1 Seething Hollowed Flask just in case my life pool ever dips, which it hasn't yet. The only thing I've ever really needed to use this on is just for the sake of removing a bleed. The next one I finally rolled, which is a Sapping Eternal Life Flask of Animation with a capped minion. I think it's a capped minion at 60%, which basically it heals my minions over time and heals me over time. It heals me more HP than I have, so Degeneration would never even hurt my character. Then I have an Avengers Quicksilver of Warding. It should be Perpetual or Ample, which is just for Curse Immunity. This is a Dispel Shock. Granted, could be quality, could be much better, but just having 1 Dispel Shock is pretty neat. And then I have a Curse Immune Warding Flask for a Ruby. So the only reason why I'm running a Ruby is just because of Flame Blast, because of desync. There's really no other reason. You can pretty much run whatever you want with your flask setup. I would just recommend using 1 Animation Flask and 1 Remove Bleed Flask. Those are like the 2 things I would just recommend. Everything else is up to you. Just because you don't have any armor, you just have a huge pool of life, essentially, of effective HP. And because of that, Puncture will shred you. It's not going to insta-kill you, but you'll see your ES go down by like 2,000, a second. So I would just recommend just tapping it, and boom, you have a really good buffer on that. And then 1 Animation Flask, just so whenever you're just fighting, you can just tap it and make sure your minions are constantly healing, because it's not going to hurt you by any means to tap it. But that pretty much, I want to say, covers everything. If I forgot anything, please let me know. If you let me know, I'll make a video on it ASAP, assuming it's like a big section that I did miss. I can't think of anything off the top of my head that I missed. But like I said, you know, just let me know. Oh, actually, here's one. The reason why I use Evangelist. There you go, it's the last one. So Evangelist might not be the best for clear speed. Some people say they are. Some people say Flame Sentinels are. I really don't know. I haven't done the testing. But the thing is I'm susceptible to chaos damage. It doesn't really hurt me much, but I'm still susceptible to it. And having a proximity shield is just so awesome. I don't know how to explain it. When you're fighting beyond mobs and you see 16 storm calls and you're just like, oh look, there's a bubble, let me just go walk in that, and you just hear like the and nothing hits you because of the bubbles. It's just a really good feeling, and I really enjoy them because of that, and they seem to synergize really well with me as well. With Hatred Generosity, it scales pretty well. So the last topic to bring up is why I use added fire on the Evangelists, and why I would use added fire on the zombie, is because Elemental Equilibrium lowers the resistances by 50%, so minus 50% cold with minus 50% fire, and then using Elemental Weakness to bring them down even further with the Curse Effectiveness, while on top of that, you have Generosity with Hatred scaling their cold damage, and then all of a sudden they're just getting absolutely wrecked. Although I was not the one to come up with this, this was from, I believe, I don't want to credit the wrong person, but from what people told me, it was Angry AA who came up with it. I don't really know. I just know that someone was telling me about it, and I was like, wow, that sounds really smart. But I cannot take credit for that. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Of course, like I said, you know, leave some information down below. I've got some Divinity playthroughs coming up soon, very soon actually. And, you know, like always, if you guys enjoyed, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. And remember, you can catch me on my on my Twitch every day, streaming at twitch.tv/Pohx, located somewhere down here. I don't have the screen up, so I can't see. And to know when I go live, you can follow me on my Twitter at twitter.com/POHXX. And that's pretty much about it. I'm looking for some help with graphic design as well for some sub icons and sub emotes. So if anyone has spare time and wants to help me out, that'd be greatly appreciated. That's pretty much about it, though. So hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you guys all tomorrow. Take care, everybody.